All right, we are in another episode of Huncho Cel presents Take Two. I know I have been adolescent for a while now. I did not abandon you guys. I just took a little break, but now we are back and we are better. We have a special guest today. I'd like to give it a big shout out to Miss Handy.
Hey,
I appreciate her for coming on today. So Miss Handy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. This is exciting.
I know.
I'm excited.
It is the first live podcast, so it will be featured. Well, you can see it, so you know where it's be featured. So let's jump right into it. So today we're going to be discussing the topic of mental health and why is it so important, and like why are students more afraid of talking about it than that should be. So Miss Handy, I'd like to start off with saying, like, what is like your opinion on mental health?
So, my mental health journey, started when I was very young.
Right.
So I was 5 when my parents got divorced, and so I was close with both of them. So it kind of, I struggled with it a little bit. So that's kind of when it all started, and then life takes off, and you have really good times, and then sometimes it gets into a slump, but different seasons, and college was different than high school, and high school is different than middle school, and you just learn along the way. But I think it's so important because it's a part of what makes you you, and so to ignore that or put it on a back burner, it's not good.
Right. See, as students, I do feel like when we talk about mental health, we just think of it as because as high schoolers, we're always going through something. It's always a change going on with our life, especially with school progressing, and especially like junior year or senior year, because them 2 years are like the hardest years of high school.
It's a big time.
Like mental health, I feel like it's a very hard topic to talk about because you just never know who can you talk to, and some people may think that talking about your mental health could be a sign of weakness and not strength. People may also think that they just have nobody to talk to, or they just have not been taught the importance of it and how important it is to actually talk to someone instead of holding it in.
Absolutely.
And things of that sort.
So when I was younger, I would talk to, honestly, teachers that I trusted.
Right.
And then, because friends come and go, and junior and senior year of high school is really, you're getting ready to go out on your own, so it's scary. I know that you're ready.
Right.
And you guys are like, I'm ready to do this, but when it comes down to like that moment, it's just a human nature to be a little timid because you've never done it before. Something completely new. So I think, speaking to an adult that you trust is super important. And you said a lot of people feel like it might be showing weakness. I honestly think it's the exact opposite, because it is human nature to, be a little bit scared about some things or to feel a certain way. Students here are completely resilient. You guys have been through a lot. And it's part of being a human. So just like you go to physicals for athletics and you take care of your body, you also need to take care of your mental as well. But I just think that, talking about your mental health and opening up, not only, it's really just going to help you be a better person and feel better, and so you're not bottling things up. And I really do think it takes a very strong person to talk about it, because it's kind of intimidating. But to be vulnerable is a huge strength, I believe.
Right. Because my mother, she actually suffers from depression. Always seeing that, how important it is for her to actually take care of her mental health. Like sometimes, like she can have like some type of like episodes where like some days she's just like really just not feeling it or just can't get through it, and some days where she's at her greatest and things like that. It's like sometimes like seeing that from someone else's point of view could be scary. I just know like she's never like talked to someone or had someone she can actually talk to, things like that. That's another reason why I think it's so important, because you just never know what people are going through or like how they're feeling. And sometimes asking like, are you okay? Or like, how are you doing? Like things like that can actually help someone. Little do people know.
You're absolutely right. Even like the very smallest things, like a compliment like your outfit's so cute, or oh my gosh, you got your hair done. Noticing those small things really does make a huge difference. I mean, have you ever noticed you smile at a person, maybe you don't even know them, they tend to smile back? Those little things, I mean, that could make a huge difference. So it doesn't have to be any big gesture. But, there are techniques and things that I practice. If I am aware of my mood slipping a little bit, or if I get really overwhelmed in something, it takes a couple of seconds for me to like pull back, breathe. There's like a few breathing techniques that I do, or I just try to be in the moment. I'll put my phone down. I'll close my laptop. I'll get off the screen for a minute and just look out the windows. And it's, there's something bigger than you.
Right.
So that helps to stay in the moment and just be grateful for everything around me. So that's the little things that I do during the day. And then also I talk with a therapist, because that's just great to have somebody to talk to that doesn't really know you on a certain level. They don't know family, so it's just a person where I can just kind of vent to.
So, like, with talking to a therapist, like, is it more comfortable, like, talking to, like, a stranger, like, that just has no clue who you are, or things like that? It's, like, better than actually talking to someone, like,
So, for me, I have a very supportive group of friends and family, but I also think that it's not really fair to them for me to, like, dump all of, like, trauma dump. Onto them, because I know that they're going through a lot too. Whereas a therapist, they're licensed, they're trained, and that's their job. So of course it's important to, kind of
know the boundaries.
It's to get with a therapist that you feel comfortable with, that might have a similar background as you, who might have gone through some of the things you've gone through, but that is literally their job. So you don't feel guilty, like coming to them with all this. And with a therapist, you have to be completely open and honest. You have to feel comfortable, because otherwise, what are you paying for, honestly? They're not going to be able to help you if you're not being honest with them. So I think that helps.
So for you, because I've like thought about therapists and getting into things like that, but I feel like, when it comes to like men talking about like their feelings and their past or what they're going through, it's not always projected as strength. It's more projected as weakness. It's always like, well, men have to be strong, they have to be caring, all this and that, but never. It's like they can never just be shown as weakness without showing their feelings.
So again, back to that strong. That's a stigma. Is that if you share your feelings and you share your emotions, that you're not strong. That's completely untrue. It takes a lot of courage, like I said before, and a lot of bravery and a lot of strength to be able to talk about your feelings. And I don't really know where that started. I guess being the man of the household or having to do all of these things. You can do all of those things, and you can talk about your feelings and your emotions. Honestly, that, in my experience, that has made relationships stronger. Not only as like a father figure talking about it, or your partner in life talking about it, because the communication is in there.
Right.
So when they're open and honest, it's just going to make everything that much better, because you know where each person's coming from. Whereas if you hold it in, that person on the outside is just going to look and interpret those emotions or how you are reacting to things the way that they want, or the way that they see it in their head, where it might be completely different for the person that's going through it. So I just think that it's the complete opposite. I don't think it shows weakness at all.
Yeah, because in my opinion, that's how like society made everything, and how they made like, it's just how they made everything, and that's why like a lot of men and young men think like that, and why they don't feel open to talk about their feelings, because they can be seen as soft or weak. And I just feel like that's very important to do at some point in life.
Absolutely. I mean, it's human nature to you're not always going to feel great, right?
Right.
Even if you haven't been diagnosed with anxiety, depression, there are tons of disorders. Even if you haven't been diagnosed, it's always good to get your feelings off your chest. Even you could even start journaling. So that's something we do in our class, and it really does help. And I hope that, once we get into it and I have you go back and reflect on those, you'll start to see it more. And typically that's what happens. It starts out a little iffy. People are not sure what to expect. But it is a way to get your thoughts onto paper instead of, lashing out at somebody or saying the wrong words to somebody where then it's not only going to hurt you, it's going to hurt the other person. So journaling is a really healthy way to kind of see what you're going through.
Yeah, like the 7th period class, there is a student who loves to journal like about their life or like what they're going through, and I have seen like that student has like loved to do so, and it's like healthy for that person. The student has said multiple times that they have to get something off their chest or something they just wanted to bring back into. They just wanted to write down to get off their chest and feel better of.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's things like that that could make people feel better. That's why I do love the class of principles of human services. I got you like 4 times.
Yeah.
You got the understanding diversity and relations and emotions, which I was very mad at that I had to take that whole course because I'm like,
it's fun.
It is. It'd be better if they kept the criminal justice portion class.
Well, we can throw in some criminal justice stuff there. Yeah, emotions and relationships. We could talk about a case.
Yeah, because that's why I did the work-based learning.
Well, yeah, and I think that's awesome. You're at a law firm, so okay. Here's your homework. Find a case, and we'll mesh it in with our lessons.
Oh, I already got a case I'm working on right now. Okay.
We'll figure out a way to.
It's this big book. It look like a Bible, but it's like.
Well, then you read it. You break it down for me, and we'll create a lesson together.
It'd be hard trying to break that down because it's just like it'd be so much. I'm like, dang, all this happened. 97 counts of what?
Yeah. Wow. I love true crime.
Yes, like
great.
Like Law and Order. No, that's not true crime.
True crime. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
See,
about different cases.
The only podcast I've ever listened to
is this one.
Mostly just my podcast.
You've never.
I listen to like the morning breakfast show or. What's that other one? The Ricky Smiley morning shows. Mm-hmm. It's like on the podcast. Yeah. So I used to listen to that.
You can look them up on Spotify, on Pandora. That's another thing I do. There's tons of podcasts about mental health, and they're funny. It's not just like listening to a lecture or something. Some of them are really funny, and they bring in real life topics. And like even when I'm driving in the morning,
listen to them.
Yeah, it's cool.
How did you start your morning? Since we were talking about driving in the morning.
Let's see. I get up and turn on the coffee maker, and then I take my dog for a long walk. Come back, meditate, drink my coffee, and get ready.
So, what time does your day start?
Alarm goes off at 4:30.
Wow.
I get out of bed around 4:45.
Wow. That's just too. What time do you go to bed?
Like 10 or 11.
Kind of early.
Yeah.
That's kind of late to go to sleep.
Yeah, right.
In some opinions. And kind of early to wake up.
Yeah. I need a moment to myself, which I think is really important. Some days, like if I wake up late and I'm scrambling to get ready, then my whole day, it used to be that my whole day would be thrown off. But now I've got those little tools like take a moment.
You're already late.
Yep.
A little later ain't going to hurt.
Yep. Just chill out for a second.
As I be when I go to work or go to school. If I'm already late, stop rushing.
But then I also think about, okay, what did I do to put myself in this position?
Or what could I do different?
Yes, because I can't blame other people or other things. You just can't.
Right.
There's always something that you could do to control it or that you could have done to make it better.
Right. So unless the power went out when you were asleep and your phone didn't charge or our alarm clock didn't go off.
Okay. Well, that's not going to happen every day, though.
Right. Like the last few mornings, I've been waking up at 5 a.m. No alarm, no nothing. Just, I'm like, wow, I don't like waking up before my alarm.
That's good, though.
And like, I just sit there and I just look at the sky or look at the roof. And I just look like, It's quiet. It's like The lighting is perfect. It's just like, wow. Having that time for yourself for a moment.
Without a phone.
Like without a phone, without anything, just your thoughts and your air.
Yeah.
And it's like really refreshing. Like most people can agree on that part. It's just like refreshing. I feel like our phones sometimes can cause our mental health to go down, such as social media. That's a big influence on our mental health today.
That is absolutely. So when I tell y'all to put your phones away, it's like you are going to die or something. You'll be okay, I promise. You'll be
See,
okay.
the thing with students is like we have our phones throughout every day throughout the day. Like there's even teachers saying, "Well, pull out your phone so you can do this, or you can work on an assignment on your phone, or pull out your phone and blah 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 blah."
Well, that's true. I mean, phones are good. It's a helpful tool, but it's when it starts to get to, this person. I overheard it in one of my classes the other day, and they said, "Well, she doesn't have a lot of followers." Oh my goodness, what does that matter? Like in the big scheme of things, what does that matter? Maybe they don't have a lot of followers because they don't want them.
Exactly, or they removed all their followers, or
they're not on there all the time,
or they're just okay with being low key. Like
okay.
me, I feel like social media for me, it's not a big thing, like, but it's a big thing at the same time. Like when I post on social media, I just do like repost of something for the school or something that I did or something that I'm in with the school or things like that. That's really the only time I like post on social media is when I'm promoting something.
And that's a tool. That's a good thing. I love that. I'm on it as well for my classroom, and and there are a lot of positives. It's when you start to dig into things and you're getting down on yourself, or it's like a comparison trap. You're like,
Right.
oh, well, this person has this. Why don't I have that? That's when it gets a little dicey. So you always just want to be mindful, I guess, of how you're feeling when you're on social media because you don't want it to hurt you.
Right. So, like, what is your opinion on like people dumping their life onto social media?
It just makes me laugh. I'm thankful that I didn't have all this social media when I was y'all's age. I mean, high school's a really hard time, but it's almost like sometimes students are more comfortable putting their entire life onto social media instead of actually speaking to somebody. And so then you get the opinions of others, and it might be opinions of others that you don't even know who they are. They don't know you outside of what they're telling you. So I think a lot of social media it's like a highlight reel of your life. Who's honestly going on there? And I mean, there are some people that go on there and they will post their struggles and how they're getting through something, but the majority of the time, it's all of the good things is what you're seeing. So, yeah, I don't know. It's scary.
Yeah, like when I see people like who dump their entire life on the social media, like 37 stories. No offense, but I unfollow. The reason I unfollow is because if I gotta tap through the story and keep tapping through the same story more than 3 times, to me that's like, okay, I gotta unfollow now.
Or look at the time that you're wasting, really. And sometimes I'll walk up to students, they'll have their phones out. I'm like, do you even know what you're scrolling past? It's like emotion, and you don't even know what you're looking at.
Like,
you're scrolling.
You can be on TikTok and just shoot your thumb, just.
Yeah. So, and I always just ask because I'm curious to know, like, are you even retaining the information? Like, what did you just look at? And half the time they're like, I don't know.
But social media, I feel like it is a good thing as well because I've learned so much from social media, like stuff that I wasn't taught in school or stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay. Especially from TikTok. TikTok is a goated learning app.
But you also need to make sure that you're checking other sources because anybody can make a TikTok, right?
Right.
So I could go on and, say anything. And some people might not look into other sources and be like, oh, that's absolutely true. Who knows? Could be.
When I was on TikTok, it was like a few nights ago, when I was thinking of the gist of this podcast episode, I was scrolling through something. It was like an AI bot, and it's like, for some reason, when you say something to you, like when you say something out loud, your phone just picks up what you're hearing. That is scary right there.
Have you ever noticed the ads?
Yes, like I'll say something about chicken or something, and then boom, I get a chicken ad. Or I say something about like a school or something, I get something about a school ad. But when I say something about free money, don't nothing want to pop up. I don't like that. But yeah, the AI bot, it was like you can talk to it like as it's a real person, and like you can talk about how your mental state is. And for me, I feel that is kind of scary.
That scares me.
I
The
don't.
AI stuff is weird.
I mean, I've used AI plenty of times, for different things. Right, but all my assignments are good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be on the lookout for that.
Yep. But it's scary like how they write things and then how they can rewrite it like for your words.
Yeah, but then again, it's not your words.
I mean, yes, not your words, but it can make it sound like you. But
Not
I don't know.
fully.
Yeah,
You're the only person who
right.
can do that. So it's good. It's both sides. There's two sides to it.
Yeah, that's very scary.
What scares me is people using it for the wrong things.
Yeah, what scares me is the brain chip that Elon Musk is trying to create.
That's a whole nother podcast, I think.
Yeah, we should talk about that a different thing because that right there is an adventure of its own. Well, Miss Handy, we're gonna have to get you on another episode.
Yeah,
this
I
seems
love this.
Yeah, this is kind of fun.
This is fun.
This is fun. It's not like boring or
No,
like just sad.
I like speaking to you.
'Cause I thought making a just that episode is gonna be like.
No.
Well, that would really be it. Make sure you guys follow me on social at the official Take Two podcast, and also on my main Instagram, or you can look me up on Google at Huncho Cel. Would you like to shout out yourself?
Oh, our classroom Instagram is handy_facts FACS. Bye, guys.
All right, guys, that will conclude our episode of Mental Health. I am your host, Huncho Cel. Until we have our next guest, be breezy.